Before I lift the body off the frame here, I've had a rethink about these little jacks that I put together the other day. I'm not happy with this approach. And the reason I'm not happy with that approach is fundamentally the floor that I've got in here. It's difficult to see from this angle, but the jack that I've got down in this corner down here is lifting up on the floor. Great, that's exactly what it's supposed to do. But the floor has separated from the body, so the body's not being lifted, just the floor. So pushing up on the floor is not going to work. I'm going to stop that process right now. Instead, what I'm going to do is build a little scaffold. So I'll have a brace running up here, across and down. I'm going to run boards right through the window and lift up from the inside, so we'll lift the whole thing up by the roof. But before I do that, I am a little concerned about the body here splitting apart. So as I lift up on the roof, I'm concerned that the front of the Boler is just going to sway out a little bit because there's no connection over this quite a long expanse from the height of the door. So I'll put a 2x4 in place kind of like this to brace the front of the Boler to the back of the Boler. And then when I lift, I know that the door is going to stay in the place that it needs to be. Of course, the Boler has a bit of a curve to it. I'm all right with the fit at that side, but the fit on this side, quite a gap. So I'm going to use the bandsaw. You can see I have made a little mark here. We're going to cut that out on the bandsaw so that this board will conform to the fit of the Boler. And then we'll bolt all this stuff together. That's where I am at the moment. Okay, so I have a board here, a 2x4 now, kind of cut to the contour that I want, so it fits up here reasonably well. Okay with that. And I cut it a little bit away here so that fits well. But I thought before I attach this, I'm just going to check the measurements of the door and the measurement of the gap that I've got. I'm going to check the measurement of both the door and the gap to make sure that things are the way they're supposed to be. And what I found, the door at the top hinge is 25 3/4 inches wide. The door at the bottom is 26 inches wide. When I measure the door at the top, I'm at 26 inches. So that's, well, 20, in fact, if I'm really careful, I'm 26 1/4. So I'm a 1/2 inch wider at the top than I am at the bottom, or 1/2 inch wider at the hinge, the top hinge, than the door. That's probably okay. That would give a 1/4 inch gap on either side, and given the fact that we want to have some edge seam and some weather strip, might not be bad, but it's very different than what I have here at the bottom hinge. So at the bottom hinge, the door is 26 inches wide. The gap is 27. So I'm out by a full inch here, 1/2 inch more than I am at the top. So that tells me clearly that the bottom right here, this has slipped forward that way 1/2 inch. So I need to bring that back in. Already we're splitting apart. And there's evidence of that split right here. Fiberglass is cracked, so this has moved, this whole front has moved forward a bit and has started to split there. So we'll need to do some repair at that point. And I'm going to bring this back in about 1/2 inch, see what we can do there before I put that board on. As you can see, I now have a scaffold all around the Boler here, ready to lift the body. I got away from the little jacks that I had on the 4 corners supporting the floor, and instead we have beams running through the length of the Boler supporting the roof, so we're kind of lifting from the roof. That's the intent. And just to show you what I'm working with here, So the same kind of screw jack principle. Got a bolt here in a block that as I turn this nut, it raises the beam. That beam in turn, you can see I've got some 2x6s up on the ceiling, spreading the load across the entire length of the ceiling. So as I lift, I'm lifting everything from as much of the ceiling as I possibly can along the ridges there that provide what I'm hoping is a lot of structural integrity. So it seems to be working. It's lifting up. I've lifted just a little wee bit, taken the weight off the frame. So I'm just going to go around and tighten up each nut a little bit. Just kind of go around in a circle, maybe go up 1/4 of an inch every time, and just see how we eventually get this body detached entirely from the frame. And when I say frame, I'm trying to detach from the original frame, which as I lift, I'm discovering is kind of in pieces. So once we have the body off the frame, we can drop everything down, pull the old frame out and see what we got. So the body is now pretty much free all the way around. There's a little binding happening here. It's nothing serious. You can see there's still movement, so not really worried about that yet. I think we're okay. But what I'm doing at the moment is just lowering the frame now off the jack stands. I have my jack there holding up the back end. I'm going to drop it down another inch and we'll see how it goes. Here we go, dropping. Have to get on the right thing here. Okay, I'm dropping it now. Just try and go slowly. Okay, the weight is now on the stands, the weight of the frame that is, and looks like we are clearing nicely. I think we're all good. Just go do the front end and we'll do the same thing until we have the wheels on the ground. So slow and steady wins the race. What I discovered though is that the spare tire is, there's a mount to the tire holder through the body, and then that spare tire holder is mounted to the frame. So I'm going to investigate that, take the spare tire right off and see what I've got back there. Here is the culprit, that bolt out of the spare tire carrier. Don't know why that was done, but there you go. Lots of mysterious things on this trailer. So with that bolt out of the way, the old frame is dropped right back down onto the new trailer. So I think I'm now free to get the whole thing onto the ground. I'm going to start at the front and then come back and do the rear stands. So with the body of the trailer now off the frame, I can move this door into where it's supposed to be. So that's where I want it. And in moving it in like that, I'm observing that not only does this move in, but that bottom corner lifts back up, kind of the bottom corner of the other side. The whole body of the trailer lifts up just a little wee bit. So significant sag introduced by this little bit of body movement. It's amazing to see what's changed. So I'm going to clamp this in place and then run the bolts through here to get this held in place to prevent any further sagging. Yes, it is a sacrificial hole through the fiberglass. I'll have to patch that up later. But I think it's more important to have some structural integrity to the whole trailer rather than just a single hole that needs to be patched. Okay, that's one bolt in. I'm going to put in the second. All right. I am much happier now having the frame tightened in. I'm much more confident. Next step, I'm going to have to get some plywood, and we're going to make cuts all along the fiberglass there to remove that back piece of flooring. And then we're going to have to put a new piece of flooring in, fiberglass it in. I'm not too sure about the front, if I want to replace this floor or not. It's not in bad shape. There's a little bit of damage up here at this front corner. And I'm not sure about that middle piece. You can see there's a fiberglass patch right in there covering those two pieces that join, and that doesn't seem to be sitting well. So I might want to take that out as well. So I'm not sure if we're going to do the whole floor. I might do it just to be safe. Have to think about that. And the other little bit that needs to be done is the ridge that goes all around. Not bad in most places, but I'm not, just in that back corner, it's pretty rough. And over in this corner, it's pretty rough too. It's rotted out. So that needs to be replaced. And of course I have to take out the insulate all around, scrub the inside, but I'm going to wait until the body is back on the frame before handling that stuff. So the objective right now is to get the frame out, that floor replaced, fix the frame, put it back in, and then we can start working on the rest of it. Okay, our little Boler and the trailer. And I'm calling it a trailer because it is actually a little trailer that was underneath that. What somebody had done was taken the original Boler frame and just literally set it on top of that trailer. And this little Boler frame is just in absolutely desperate shape. It had broken, the original frame had broken here. Somebody had welded on a new piece. Same thing on that side, but even that is broken. It broke up here. So original equipment stuff is in bad shape. However, what I do have out of this, we'll call it mess, is actually a really good little trailer. So what I am going to do is use that trailer as is. I'm going to make a little modification to add a bumper on the back of it. But I'm just going to build a wooden substructure underneath here. Get a 2x8, cut it down to 6 inches so it's the same width as those metal beams. And then I can build a box exactly how I want it so that the body can sit back down on top of that wooden structure, which will be anchored to our good trailer. And I intend to do a little bit more than just put the wooden structure in place. We'll get that well protected from elements and make sure that we seal up everything between that wooden structure and this trailer so that we don't get any critters moving in. And that's the plan. By the way, we've got a couple little U-bolts here that don't seem to serve much purpose at all. So they'll come out. We'll do a little bit of cleanup on this existing trailer. But that's the plan. Anyway, I'll call that a video. We have now freed the body from the frame and we're ready to do some really start into the reconstruction now. So thanks very much for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.